Joining us now, Texas Congressman Roger Williams. Congressman, great to see you. You were the state's chief liaison for the Texas Border and Mexican Affairs while serving as the Secretary of State. Is there any hope to stop this surge?
Well, not this. I mean, we have no hope because the Biden administration is doing nothing. When I was Secretary of State, I was down at the border a lot. You know, we had people we would go through the portals, through the ports of entry to do it legally and so forth. But now it's out of control, and you know they've done away with Title 42, the Stay in Mexico policy. What we've seen the last couple of weeks at Eagle Pass and at the border in El Paso is just really unbelievable. But how are we going to change anything if we have no law enforcement? Border Patrol is overwhelmed, and you got a border czar in Kamala Harris that thinks the people down there are KKK. So I don't know what's going to change. It's just going to get worse unless we begin to build a wall and put some things up that work.
That's right. Roger, good to see you, by the way. We've got President Biden down on the front lines of the UAW protest earlier today, and one of the major sticking points in negotiations is Biden's forced transition to EVs. But Team Biden is still pushing their green agenda down America's throat. Their goal is to have EV markets, the EVs make up to 67% of the U.S. vehicle sales by 2032. So since Biden took office, companies have invested nearly $85 billion in EV manufacturing, batteries, and chargers. Congressman, you're sponsoring legislation it's called Preserving Choice in Vehicle Purchase Act. Why is this so important, and what does this mean for blue-collar workers, and what does it mean for the average purchaser and car dealers like yourself?
Well, I've been a car dealer for 52 years, and we've been through some of these. We've never seen a president go out and picket on behalf of one side or another. Let me tell you, this EV market, Dagan and Sean, is a phony market. It's the biggest ripoff since COVID in America. There is no market for these vehicles. They're dangerous to drive. They're tearing up our highways. There's no grid for crying out loud. And where I live in Weatherford, Texas, if you try to take an electric vehicle and pull a horse trailer, a jet ski, and a boat, you're never going to make it to Midland, Texas. And so it's a ripoff. And the manufacturers themselves admit they're not going to make money. They're losing money. If I was a shareholder, I'd be really concerned about it. But as a dealer, they're trying to make me sell things the customer doesn't want. I'm for competition, not necessarily against electric vehicles. But this is a ripoff of the American public in a huge way. And it's not going anywhere. There's no market for it.
Well, it is going somewhere because President Biden has mandated it. And Larry Kudlow calls it the Green New Deal. It's the Inflation Reduction Act. It's got uncapped tax breaks for people to buy these stupid cars, which will total $400 billion. It's got low-cost loans for Ford and all these automakers, these battery plants. Ford can't get a low-cost loan like that $9 billion loan they got to build those battery plants in Tennessee and Kentucky and wherever else they're going to go. This is American taxpayer money. And it needs to be clawed back before it gets spent. We act like, oh, they're so expensive. Oh, they're not great cars. But the bet is on it from Washington.
Well, the consumers aren't going to go for it. If you want to claw back the money, the consumers, they're not going to buy it. And let me tell you, everything is going up in prices. These things are going to be so expensive. More talked about interest rates. I mean, the interest rates on the principal balances of cars right now are out of sight. The electric vehicle is not going to add anything to the Highway Trust Fund. They're going to use the highways. They're going to tear the highways up. There's no resale market on it. And it's a loser. So, I mean, the manufacturers are going to need a lot of money. But what they're going to do, Dagan, is they're going to give rebates to customers, rebates to dealers, and to give taxpayers money back to them. And it's going to be a circle that never closes. And so it's a real issue. And they're making the dealer network. Dealers are paying millions of dollars for charging stations that they have that they have nothing to charge, and they're not going to get their money back. It's a total non-return on investment. So it's not a good situation that the industry is in right now, and Joe Biden's fueling it, and it's also going to cost union jobs. I'm laughing about this strike because it takes less people to make these electric cars. They support Biden, but he's the ones going after their jobs.
It makes no sense. Roger Williams, Texan, congressman, car dealer, and one heck of a baseball player. Roger Williams, Thanks for
Good to
joining
see
us
you
on The
guys.
Bottom Line.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.